What's up guys, it's manga time once again, and here I am to rank the lieutenants in another list video. And if there's any other list videos you'd like to see, let me know in the comments below. But right now we've got the lieutenants, but before I begin, just a couple of quick announcements. I think we've got one more iteration of the dagger to come next Wednesday. But of course it might not arrive Wednesday because they haven't been doing really, and it'll probably get here about Sunday. Then after that, we just await the spoilers for the new chapters, so we've almost done it, everyone. You know, hang on, hang in there. We're almost there. And to celebrate the fact, I'll be doing a predictions video tomorrow, so you know, look out for that. It's going to be pretty long, matchups, unresolved plot points, characters coming back, that sort of thing. And also, like I said before, I'll be doing a recap of the dagger next week at some point. So yeah, keep looking out for that. And like I said, if there's any more list videos you want me to do, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to leave your lieutenant list. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see if you agree or disagree with any of my points. I can imagine, as always, some of them are going to be fairly controversial, but we'll just have to see. So without further ado, let's get on with it. I'm going to be including deceased lieutenants because that's only fair. I think we've seen enough of the ones who've been killed, especially in comparison to some of the ones who are still alive. So yeah, without further ado, my least favourite lieutenant, and possibly one of the more controversial of my options already, Hinamori Momo, lieutenant of Squad 5. Why do I hate her? Well, other than the fact she's absolutely useless. She's kind of changed a bit now. I'll give her that, but the problem is we haven't seen her do anything. So I expect her to fight the Sternritter, or at least some variant of Quincy enemy. And you know, if she does okay, then she can move up in the list. But up until this point, she's been practically useless. Okay, she had some fairly cool scenes when she strung together some Kido to not defeat, but attack the Trey Bestius in the Fate Karakura Town arc. But then she was easily manipulated by Aizen again into being... Admittedly, we don't know how that scene really went. Somehow Aizen changed places with her, but you know, that's kind of down to speculation. But regardless, she's useless. Now, Tobiume is an okay Zanpakuto, but all it does really is fling a fireball at you. Hinamori is great with Kido, but I really think she's a complete victim of Kubo. Her character has been nothing but pandering to both Toshiro and Aizen through the entire series. She's been a complete punching bag. And she's just, I don't know, I want to see her redeem herself, because I know she's a popular character, but for me, she's just useless, and I just don't like her. I don't like her. She's whingy, she's whining. I mean, I know she's basically been mentally broken by Aizen, but I love Aizen. So if he's going to break her, that's fine by me. I think it's hilarious. But yeah, so Momo is my least favourite lieutenant, because she's useless. It's actually quite hard to rank some of these lieutenants though, because we've literally seen some of them do absolutely nothing. But regardless of that fact, the next one for me is lieutenant of now the 1st Division, Nanao Issei. And that's literally just reminding me that Genshiro Okikiba is also a lieutenant now. But he can't really be ranked. We've seen him in like one panel. So yeah, Genshiro Okikiba is even lower than Momo. There you go, so he's lower than Momo. So yeah. Momo fans, she's no longer bottom. But anyway, yeah, Nanao is probably my next one, because again, she's done absolutely nothing. Did you know that in the manga, after the Soul Society arc, we didn't see Nanao again until the 1,000 Year Blood War arc? That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Does Kubo really have nothing for her to do? Back in the Soul Society arc, when Shinsui was about to confront Yamamoto and Okitake, Nanao said, "There's only one thing I can do," and she seemed to reach for her Zanpakuto, and then she got paralysed by Yamamoto's Reiatsu. So that intrigues me, but again, it's not enough. It's absolutely not enough. She's done nothing. The reason she's not bottom, for me, is because she's part of like a double act. Her and Shinsui, she provides the essential foil to Shinsui's kind of manic, erratic behaviour, eccentric behaviour. Admittedly, that's changing a little bit, and I like their dynamic now. Shinsui's had to take on a lot more responsibility. He's a changed man after Yamamoto's death. and I think we're going to see that in the now as well, in that she doesn't necessarily have to look after him so much. But yeah, again, that's another issue with Momo. We've not really seen her do anything with Shinji. They've maybe been together twice and barely interacted, so I'd love to see Kubo work on that a bit. The next lieutenant for me is, again, another one who hasn't really done a lot, Nimu Kurotsuchi, Lieutenant of Squad 12. She doesn't really have a personality, but maybe this is because she's some kind of robot android thing. The fact that she doesn't really have a personality is a bit of a double-edged sword, because in one way it makes her not particularly interesting at all, but in another way, she can have some pretty funny scenes. Again, she's a bit of a double act with Mayuri. Now, she's another victim of the manga, really, because she does quite a bit in Soul Society. Like, she has the whole Uryu section, which is awesome. She helps Uryu, so that shows a level of compassion. But then after, she's like not really done anything at all. She's in the Ranker arc a little bit, obviously, because she helps Uryu and the others when Zaya was around in that awful period. But really, she's done nothing. Again, she's shown no indication of having a Zanpakuto toe, no indication of having a proper battle. That's why it's so hard to rank some of these, because they've literally done nothing at all, really, in terms of actual story progression. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. I'd love to see Nimu do more, just like, because I can imagine Nimu being, Miyuri's probably closest subordinate. She must be pretty good at, like, Kido, surely? But yeah, I want to see more. Next one, which I think is technically 11, is Isen Kotetsu. Now, this and number 10 are fairly interchangeable, so take these two how you want. They could go either way. But Isane, again, is a victim of not having done much. We've seen her Zanpakuto once, Itagumo. And I think there was implication that it was an ice Zanpakuto and what the name translated to, I can't remember. But all it is a three-pronged sword. And she got swiftly taken out by Ichigo, but then so did the other two lieutenants who were fighting him, so that's not a really good indicator of power, especially if Chojuro Saski is anything to go by. So why is Isano where she is? Well, she's not at the bottom because I think she has more depth to her compared to the ones below. She's one of the more human characters we've seen in the series, I think. She has her nightmares. When they can't save people against the Wandenreich, she cries about Unohana. She's just got a bit of depth, and I'd love to see more. Why haven't we seen her doing anything after Unohana's final battle? That's a great opportunity for Isane to step up to the podium, as you were, and actually maybe take command of Squad 4, show another side to her character, a stronger leadership role, while Unohana is not around. I think Kubo needs to do it. And Isane could possibly even go higher for me. But I like the depth she brings. I like the humanism she brings to the lieutenants. And yeah, that's kind of why Isane is where she is. She's not at the bottom. She's not great either. But like I said, she's fairly interchangeable with number 10, Marechio Omaida, Lieutenant of Squad 2. Now this is going to be unpopular. I can imagine a lot of people would rank him at the very bottom. However, I feel a lot of people rank him at the bottom purely because of how he looks and his rather boorish personality. But I don't know, Omaida can be funny in small doses. Kubo, I can't remember the word. Kubo put him on too thick during the Fake Karakura, way too thick. Completely wasted Baragon's potential through Omaida. However, Omaida impressed me when he defeated Nerj Parduok, or kind of defeated Nerj Parduok, and he was like, don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, fair enough. And you've proved it. Because obviously the implication was that Omaida got where he was because of his family's wealth. But you do see he has the skills to, as the Royal Guard would say, pay the bills. At least in some aspects, anyway. He's useless at Kido, and his Zanpakuto Getsuburi is pretty crap as well. But at the same time, I think Omaida has at least more feats than the ones who I've put below him. Okay, I'm possibly ranking Momo where she was. Might have been a bit harsh thinking about it now, because of her Kido prowess, so feel free to swap her about between Nimu and the Now as well, as far as I can consider. But I think Omaida, out of these bottom ones that are hard to rank, he's had not a lot of feats. But I think people don't like Omeda because he's arrogant, he's stupid, he's very boastful, but at the same time, I think he's an okay lieutenant, Like, he will actively go out of his way to try and protect Soifon, to try and save Soifon. Like, he literally puts himself in the way of death to save her from Geo Vega, even though she didn't need it. That is an alright lieutenant, if you ask me. So next on my list is Yachiru Kusajishi, Lieutenant of Squad 11, the little girl with the pink hair who has still yet to do anything. However, I've got to put her there because if we're talking about double acts, she and Kenpachi are the ultimate double act in Bleach, basically. Maybe not, but they're pretty high up. They're very funny. You spend a lot of Soul Society with these two, and there's a lot of history to be had there. And I think there's possibly even a bit more to be had there. It's interesting, of course, we have another level, another layer now that we know that Yachiru was named after Unohana. That's awesome. Obviously, Yachiru has her really powerful Reiatsu that scared away the messenger. I would just want to see her fight, and I think the introduction of the character Stomata G, Little Toto Lamperd, is basically there just for that. Almost guarantee you she'll fight Yachiru. If she doesn't, then I don't know what the hell Kubo's thinking, because Little Toto looks perfect to fight her. So yeah, that's why Yachiru is where she is in my list. I like the character, and I think there's plenty more she can do. I'd love to see her fight properly. Even though in the last interview I think Kubo had, he said he hadn't even drawn her in a fight yet, but we know Kubo fudges the facts a little bit in his interviews sometimes, because he said, oh, I don't know how to integrate Harabel into the story. Boom! Like 3 chapters later, she's there. So, yeah, I'm interested in the potential Yachiru has. That's where it all comes in. If she never fights, expect her to drop in the list. Expect her to be replaced by Momo, by Isane, yeah. So, but I think she will fight. I think Kubo will deliver on a fight with Yachiru. So, 8th on my list, technically, yeah, going up, something like that, is Rangiku Matsumoto, Lieutenant of Squad 10, and I know this is going to be an unpopular choice because of her history with Gin, because she's the Lieutenant of Toshiro, but in my opinion, she's playing off the popularity of others' backs. There's not a lot, in my opinion, to like about Matsumoto, but I've put her around the mid anyway. She's lazy, she doesn't want to learn. Well, she does want to learn Bankai, but she's far too lazy to do it. Hinako is possibly one of the most useless Shikais I've seen in the series, and overall her personality just doesn't appeal to me. But I think, she can be funny, and we had far too much of her in the Uranka arc, again, but, Kubo chose to focus on certain characters in the Uranka arc, so there's not a lot we can do about that. I mean, again, at the same time, though, Matsumoto has a lot of admirable qualities. She's very friendly, always up to help someone else, always up for a good time. But when it comes down to being serious, she can do it. She values people's lives, she values her friends, and I think Matsumoto is all round. Maybe she doesn't do enough work, but she's a good lieutenant, and she'll always have her captain's back, even if he's like, "Get away from me, Matsumoto, because I'm so cool." She'll always be there. And the fact that she was Ishin's lieutenant is also very cool. So yeah, Matsumoto is there. This is going to be a shorter video than the captain's one, which is quite good, I think. 7, this is literally the halfway point now. So we're now in my top half of lieutenants. And my 7th favourite lieutenant is Tetsuzamon Iba of Squad 7. Now, this is interesting for me because he's a victim, again, of Kubo not letting him do much at all. Yet he's made it to 7th place for me. Why is that? Because he's interesting. I like his character design, though I think he's one of the only characters who looks worse after the time skip. But yeah, I like his character design. I like the fact he's meant to be an all-rounder. And there's also this he has the playful kind of rival with Ikkaku, which we get even more layers to in the Fate Karakura arc when he beats him up and he's like, what are you doing? And obviously Iba knows that Ikkaku has Bankai. Most people know now, thanks to Mayuri. But Iba is fiercely loyal to his captain. He's very similar to Komamura. We know that Iba left Squad 11 because he couldn't make lieutenant and he wanted to impress his mum, Chikane Iba, who was Rose's lieutenant back in Term of the Pendulum. So yeah, we have a little bit of character development there for Iba. I find that even though he hasn't done much in terms of action, Iba is a fairly well developed character. We understand his mindset. You know, we get his kind of a 2D part of his character, and he's all about manliness. His Shikai is interesting. We've seen it plenty of times. We still don't have a release name for it. I'm fairly certain it's probably just a melee kind of weapon, though. But yeah, I think he and Komamura complement each other very well. That they're both extremely loyal. Iba has shown perseverance. He's shown he wants to get stronger. And I think Kubo really needs to show him off. I think possibly the issue with Iba is Kubo may not think he's that interesting. At least not interesting enough to hold a fight on his own. But I think he'll possibly do. I think he'll possibly fight someone, but it's really hard to say. I'd like him to, obviously, because I think he's an alright character. I think he's well developed. He's well rounded. He's a 3D character, Iba. So I'd like to see him do a bit more. He's there, but he never fights really. The fact that he got taken out by Aeon like he did was ridiculous. But yeah, I'd love to see him do more. My 6th favourite lieutenant, Chojuro Saski, the former lieutenant of the 1st Division before being killed by Driscoll Bursey. Okay, I think you can all kind of see where this is coming from. No one liked Chojuro before this arc, and we had good reason not to. He never did anything. He said maybe 2 lines. However, he's received exponential amounts of depth since the Thousand Year Blood War arc began. He's become a fully fledged character in Death, more so than half of the lieutenants who are still alive. He has an awesome Bankai, Kokugon Ryu Rikyu, very cool, lightning based. I mean, that's awesome. And he has a personality. Had a personality, I suppose you should say. But he did have one. Very powerful. He had a Bankai. He's just got style as well. Chojuro has style. And it's a massive shame that Kubo decided not to let him have a fight. I think if the anime comes back, that's something they will do better. They will either show his fight with Driscoll, or they'll show his flashback battle with Yama. Or both. Which will be fine. I'd love that. Because Chojuro is... I say a lot of characters are a victim of Kubo. I suppose they are, really. Chojuro should have been shown more. And yeah, definitely a bit of a victim. Chojuro, though, he's 6th on my list. He's cool. I like him. He's got style. Awesome Bankai. His personality is there, and it's just a shame that Kubo decided to leave it all to flashbacks. But it was good enough to leave an impression on me. And there's also the fact that Chojuro himself left such a resounding effect on Yamamoto. The two, another very good compliment. They really developed each other, basically. 5th on my list, probably controversial, Rukia Kuchiki. We are in top 5 now, though, ladies and gentlemen. Rukia Kuchiki, the newly appointed lieutenant of Squad 13. Obviously, she's a great character. There's no denying that, and frankly, that's why she's made it to the top 5. As a lieutenant, though, she's awful. And that's why she has to be where she is, I feel. Because she's a great character, there's no denying it. Soda no Shiryuki is awesome. She's a fantastic lead. Top 5. No higher than 5, though. From a lieutenant standpoint, she lost to Rukia Dokugamine. For what? I mean, come on. Oh, that's just really, really embarrassing. And then, during the middle of a fight with the Stern Ritter, for the fate of Soul Society, she turned her back on them and ran off, only to get defeated. Seriously, Rukia, that's embarrassing. So, I think as far as actual lieutenant feats have gone, she's awful. It's almost a given, though, that Kubo will redeem her. She'll kick some Stern Ritter's ass when she returns from the Royal Realm. And I just hope we'll get that kind of development. It's a real big shame that Kubo didn't capitalise on what happened to Byakuya, because I feel that could have pushed Rukia, and I hope she'll learn Bankai. I still do. I think that if Byakuya had died, however, I am an avid Byakuya should have died guy, by the way. I think it could have pushed Rukia to have brilliant new heights of depth. So it's a shame that didn't happen. I just hope that Kubo makes the most of her character now that she's a lieutenant, because it's something a lot of people wanted to see. Byakuya didn't want her becoming a lieutenant because he figured she'd get hurt more often. All we've seen so far is that's the case. Rukia needs to prove herself. But for me, she still managed to get top 5 because she's just got such a good character. So my 4th favourite lieutenant, Kira Izuru, former lieutenant of Squad 3 before being blasted by Basby. And if the dagger is anything to go by, his death has been confirmed, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, he could pop up again in the manga, because I believe the dagger is only written by the editor of Shonen Jump. However, I'm not sure. From what the dagger says, Kira's dead. But anyway, Kira, great character, 3D character, played a big role pretty much throughout the whole series. Obviously played a massive role during the end of Soul Society arc, because he was being played by Gin. He's an interesting character, Kira, because he's had development. He's obviously gone from his history with Momo and Renji and Hisagi, being like this really cheery guy, to being uber depressed ever since Gin came into his life, basically. Kind of, I hate to use the term, but emo, depressed, just hates the world, hates battle, hates war, is full of despair. That's what Kira has become. And some might say that his death is fitting, because he was saying to Avarama Reda about how war is, not glorious, and his death is not glorious. He gets blasted by Basby from long range. He basically gets sniped, and that's it. He's taken out. So that would be fitting, in my opinion. But Kira's Wabisuke, I mean, that's an awesome and very macabre Zanpakuto. The fact that, he can cut people's heads off with it, just like that's what it's made for, that's really cool. And I like the kind of brotherly bromance thing he's got going with Hisagi, like how they show up to fight Aeon together. Excuse me, and it's just, Kira's a great character. Shame to see him go, but I think a lieutenant had to go, and I think Kira's a good choice. He's well known enough, because obviously when Chojuro died, no one really cared, but it was kind of a moment, just because it was a Shinigami dying. Kira's the next step. He's not in the heights of Renji and Rukia, but he is well known, really well known, and, I think it's a good move to kill him off. Also means I think we're going to have Baz versus Rose later, but I'll get into that tomorrow. That's going to be part of my predictions video. So that's why Kira is 4th on my list. So in the top 3 now, ladies and gentlemen, and you should know probably who the last 3 are. 3rd on my list, Renji Abarai, Lieutenant of Squad 6, main character of the series. Renji, unfortunately, is a slight victim of Kubo. During the Soul Society arc, he had amazing character development. Started off as this complete arsehole, who even goes so far as to attack Rukia at points. Can you imagine him even considering that now? I mean, that shows the level of development Renji's had. He obviously learnt Bankai, Hihio Zabimaru, and then that's where the problems began. Similarly to Ichigo, in fact, in that Renji just continually used his Bankai every chance he got, and that made it look worse and worse, weaker and weaker. He was losing every fight. I think the only fights he's won since Soul Society are Ilfort and Jackie Tristan. So, yeah, that's not saying a lot. Obviously, Renji got blindsided by Master Masculine in the invasion while he was trying to admirably help Byakuya against Asnot, which I think is really something. If you think about the fact that Byakuya and Renji were fighting to the death in Soul Society arc, and now they've got each other's backs against this unstoppable foe. I love that scene. Just the scene when Byakuya gets taken out and Renji's like telling Az to stop attacking him, tries to Bankai him, even though he knows the risks of using Bankai, and then Mask just breaks his arm toe and kicks him across Soul Society. Brilliantly portrayed by Kubo. Just the whole scene is despair, but you just know the bond the two of them have, and you know how good a Lieutenant Renji is, because he's changed so much, and he's like best mates with Ichigo now. Just great. I like him. Plus, he looks awesome after the time skip. Simple as that. So, last 2 guys, and we're on about 24 minutes. Jesus. It's probably not going to be as long as the captain's one, but my second favourite lieutenant is the deceased Cayenne Shiba, vice captain of Squad 13 before Rukia took over. Unfortunately, we obviously don't see a lot of Cayenne because he's dead by the time canon comes around. But he obviously returns in Rukia's memories. The whole fight with Metastasia is amazing. Like, that just seals what kind of character Cayenne is. Then he returns for one of the best fights in the series, which is Rukia versus Araniro. Again, really well done. The thing is, Cayenne's probably not going to come back, I shouldn't think. Maybe he'll appear very briefly. But he probably won't have a major role to play anymore, because Rukia's kind of guilt with that was settled, both with Kukaku and Ganju, and then with Araniro as well. So it's like she had guilt with the family, She settled that at the end of Soul Society, but there must have been something lingering over Kaien himself, and that was settled by fighting the Espada. So, Kaien, yeah, awesome. Obviously responsible for making Rukia what she is today. Valiant, powerful Nejibana. I mean, that's just an awesome Zanpakuto. I believe the only water Zanpakuto we have, obviously not including Haribel, she's an Espada. But yeah, he's just very cool. There's not a lot to say. We haven't seen him a lot, but he's awesome. Boiling today. So, my favourite, and I think a lot of you guys will agree with me on this one, the best lieutenant, in my opinion, is the Lieutenant of Squad 9, Shuhei Hisagi. Now, he did nothing in Soul Society, nothing for the first half of the Arrancar arc, and already Kubo was noting that he was a very popular character, and he was like, I don't like this, so I'm going to develop him. And so Hisagi basically did a lot in the Fate Karakura Town arc. He revealed his Zanpakuto, Kazashini, which, by the way, is one of the most awesome Shikais in the entire series. Let's just get that out of the way. It's freaking awesome. And Hisagi himself got some depth. We found out that he's very afraid of fighting, which is very cool because it ties in awesomely to when he got attacked by one of Aizen's giant Reiatsu hiding hollows. Obviously, Hisagi, like Kira and Momo, his captain betrayed him, but unlike the other two, Hisagi got on with life. You know, he saved those questions for when he actually confronted his captain. Hisagi had to run the Seirei Bulletin all by himself, and I just think that Hisagi is the epitome of a great lieutenant, you know. Fiercely loyal even to the end, even when he was questioning Tosen, why are you doing this? Trying to save him, he's like, I'll open your eyes, Captain. And in the end, you get that powerful shot of him closing his eyes as he kills him. Brilliant stuff. Hisagi, wow. I mean, he's a great captain. He's very, very skilled. He doesn't like Kazashini, which again adds another depth to his character, but he's very good at using him. He's very good at Aikido. He does a incantation-less Hyaparankan when he attacks Findor Carius. And yeah, he's just a great lieutenant. Awesome design as well. I mean, he's got so many quirks about him. The scars, the 69, which obviously represents Kensei, who he's now captain with. And luckily we have seen a little bit of their interaction. Obviously, Hisagi recognised him when he arrived in Fate Karakura, but nothing was really said. But yeah, just awesome lieutenant. Obviously, he's friends with a lot of them as well. And he didn't do anything Lost Agent. He fought Driscoll and got defeated, of course. And now apparently he has Bankai, as if his character could get any more awesome. He's trying to learn Bankai with Kensei and Mashiro. So yeah, I hope we'll continue to see great things out of Hisagi. He really impressed I think everyone in the Fate Karakura Town arc. Just decimating Findor with some of the coolest lines in the series. Like, oh god, what does he say? Stuff like, he says something like, are you afraid of your power? And Findor's like, no. And he's like, really, I am. And Findor's like, too afraid of your massive strength, huh? And then when he kills him, he's like, oh, and then Hisagi's like, you're finally feeling fear, it looks like you're on my level now. Power of a captain, you're not even close. Just some great lines, absolutely great lines. He's a great character. One I'm always happy to see on the screen. And yeah, I just hope we see more of him. So that's it for my video, guys. That's my lieutenant list. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you agree with any of my points? Do you disagree with some of them? I can imagine you probably do. Let me know. I want to see your lists. As always, let me know your lists in the comments below. And of course, if you have any idea for more list videos, let me know and I'll try and get them done. That's it for now though, guys. As always, subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Really helps support the video. And that's it for now though, guys. Until next time. See you later.